destroying Ghana's name, image. So it's the government. Now the president is trying to do his best, and we are not helping him.
Renewed clashes between residents of Bibiani and Ashanti Gold Corporation after attempt by Western North Regional Minister to broker peace failed.
It is also good that I come here for the public to take notice that the mine is not running away from resettling our folks in Old Town and Zone.
Gonja traditional area thrown into a state of mourning following the death of overlord of Gonja Kingdom, Yagbonwura Borisa Tuntumba II.
Today is a black day in our history. The king of Gonja, Yagbonwura Borisa Tuntumba Borisa I, on the 5th of February 2023, and today will not make it.
And later, military personnel deployed to Mamikrobo in the eastern region following the killing of a young man by nomadic herdsmen to prevent reprisal attacks.
So the elders in the town and the Krachi and the Konkomens has come together, burning the people's houses.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV, and you can join us with your contributions, your thoughts and submissions, because it's a conversational show on our WhatsApp line 0204447033. And you can join us as we stream live on YouTube on CityTube. Hansen Ajiman, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
How did your weekend go?
Well, it was a good weekend. I mean, had time to rest.
Oh, you really had time?
No, well,
I was here working.
I mean, you're working for Mother Ghana. It's all good, you know. Yes.
On that note, let's move straight to the first story, and let's take it to the Central Region, specifically Gomwa East District, because the issue of Langadism is becoming one too many there, and this is preventing individuals who want to acquire property there from doing so. Let's bring you that insight.
Developers in the Gomwa East District say protracted land disputes are hindering the desire of residents to build their own houses in the Central Region. The phenomenon, which has prevailed for several years, has caused many developers to completely abandon their projects, and those who insist on embarking on them are also faced with constant intimidation from land guards. Central Regional Correspondent Calvin Tete has more in the following report.
The Gomwa East District has become notable for protracted land disputes and violent land guard activities. Several persons seeking to build their own homes in the enclave have had to abandon those dreams. Not even the passage of the Vigilantism and Anti-Related Offences Act and the subsequent passage of a bylaw to prohibit land guard activities have been able to deal with the menace. Usually, violent confrontations occur on land properties that are under dispute. Nana Bwedi is a land surveyor, and he shares with City News his frightening experience.
Last week, you be a mama, bush, the chimney, pa, Jimmy phone your friends and Jim Bibia. You are who's a place one or more Melania City and the papa.
77-year-old Peter Annobel, who preferred to speak off camera for safety reasons, returned from abroad permanently to reside in the country. Sadly, he visited his site only to see the entire structure he had raised completely demolished by another party.
I bought 3 plots of land. I developed the land. Then I came one day to come and meet that the building now erected have been demolished. So I went to the police to go and report the matter. I was called. The police didn't attend to me. Secondly, I went to my second land. And as I was developing it, some people came, the so-called landlords came, and gave me warning that if I continue developing the land, they will kill me. I went back to the police to go and report the same matter. And by the grace of God, I was there when the guy who gave me that warning also came to meet me at the police station there. And I showed the police, this is the guy who gave me that warning. And of course, going up and down, the police were there when the guy left. They didn't even call the guy to question him. So I am pleading to the government, especially the Inspector General of Police, that his people here at the Millennium City are doing nothing to help him.
Salamatu Musa, a cocoa seller, has lived in the area with her husband and 5 children for over 7 years. Her husband died recently and she has been caught up in the wild land chase and is worried. Majority of the areas that have been under contention are within the Millennium City area and the Gomwa East District, where 2 main developers are claiming ownership of the land. Ironically, these developers are also blaming the police for failing to stamp its authority in the enclave to bring peace to the area.
The most annoying part that if you move your house and you want to plaster it, they will come and you pay plaster fee. If you want to make fence wall, pay fence wall fee. I've had so many cases at the police station. So many. We haven't seen any action. Assembly is trying, but he doesn't get support from police. Assembly already is supposed to not helping them. And one day they told me, even some of the policemen said that, told me also that Mr. Asma, not real for my birth. What is going on is destroying Ghana's name, image. So it's the government. Now the president is trying to do his best, and we are not helping him. The IGP is doing his best. We are not helping him. So what do I want them to do?
Koye case for police station where I'm going in Crawford. And run a joke 8 o'clock. Police in Ibia friend is here. Room from 4 to 8 or bo assassin mobile. Oko now Kobuni says Abu police in. Ye case. Obi anko police in no and no or she fiata de no Jino be assassin ye langa de Jumaman. And your best say police commander and IGP. Yes, we are Koye case, police for normal year. Go and call commander no say commander. Makonya and Jensen. Omo ha me assassin so. Omo o se yenya abotre. Onye case ni here de e man. Ti esre IGP say opese ofre ye nyina onfre no hu no kra here de. Ewu.
Although the DCE for Gomwa East, Solomon Dakokwam, failed to speak on camera, he reiterated the Assembly's commitment in dealing with the land issues which had caused the death of several persons, others maimed, and losing their investment. He other wants the police to be proactive in the...
So this isn't the first time this complaint is coming from this same area, that is the Gomwa East District. Actually, the district's chief executive has indicated that there is a ban on galamsey issues in that particular area, and individuals going around trying to identify themselves as galamsey? No, what's that way? Landguards rather, yes. Landguards individuals who are going out to say, okay, fine, they are the rightful owners of particular land, and that the security should take charge there. But it looks like this particular area is recording a lot of these situations and is not helping the developers to ensure that at least they acquire the land and also develop the area.
Yes, and land guard issues ultimately are one of the major challenges that we have when it comes to land issues. In a certain property and rightly thinking that you believe that you can prove same, nobody is faulting anybody or stopping anybody to insist on his right or her right to a certain property. The problem here is that you get these developers and sometimes these property owners, either 2 or more, competing over a particular land, sanctioning persons in the form of securing that property for them, and in essence they become private security in trying to secure that land, and in that land that they are competing rights to. The other issue is that within some areas, aside the fact that you have two people competing and one or both parties asking land guards to go and protect the property for them, you also have the situation where there are people who come around and asking for digging fee. So, I mean, if you have tried as much as possible in putting up a property in, let's say, in Accra, for instance, or you know someone who has done the same, this phenomenon won't be new to you. But the thing here is that this is illegal. Aside the fact that it is illegal, it is one that puts the lives of people in danger. Sometimes you have innocent people who have only come, they've been contracted to come and construct a project or to even just take care of the project, and they are caught in the middle. Some get wounded, some die. The case of Gomoa East is very troubling, and if you just do a casual search about Gomoa East and land guard issues, you get to understand that almost every single year
there's an issue like that.
There are issues about land guard. Not surprising that we had the MCE of Gomoa East coming out somewhere in September 2022 to rehash the point that he, as an MCE and as the music within the municipality, have banned the activities of land guards. Even though at the time people were even wondering, because the new Land Act had even banned land guard activities, and one is at risk of going to jail between 5 to 15 years for engaging in land guard issues. But he has to come out and rehash that even at the music level, they have banned land guard issues because it's rampant, and we can go through a number of instances where land guard issues have been reported.
Let's speak to Calvis. We would have the conversation in-house because Calvis is our man on the ground. He's our Central Regional Correspondent. He covered this story from the Gomoa East District. Calvis, good morning, if you can hear me.
Yes, good morning, Philip. I can hear you loud and clear.
What exactly can you tell us about this situation? In the first place, the residents there are not safe. Is that what the situation is on the ground? And what has been the update since you filed this report?
Well, Philip, for persons who live around Gomoa East, Gomoa East is closer to Uchusenya East, which is Kaswa. So people who can't find accommodation, who can't find land in the Uchusenya East, just move to the next door neighbor, which is Gomoa East. So there's actually a lot of pressure on the land around Gomoa East. It has a very huge population apart from Kaswa. I think it's the second highest in terms of population in the region apart from Kaswa. And so there are a lot of pressure on the lands around that area. Persons, there have been several occasions where land guard activities have happened in the area. You hear gunshots, people have been shot on their land, people have been beaten, butchered to death as a result of land issues. One interesting thing is that persons around I spoke to are saying that the land guard activities in this area is becoming too much, and the fact that individuals outside and within Ghana will buy properties, they come home to Ghana, and then to face these land guard activities. Some of them complain that you'll be on your land, and then these land guards come and they say, pay digging fee. They don't know where these monies are going to. These individuals, they come in groups. You see them on motorbikes, moving around, firing warning shots. It's actually scary to see some of these activities. Ruthless. They don't mind doing anything. Sometimes they can even come to the extent of asking you to stop working, whereas you have mixed mortar and concrete to work. They tell you to stop, and these things will be there, and then they'll just get destroyed. Sometime last year, the Municipal Chief Executive for Gomoa East, Solomon Dafokwam, actually waged a war against land guard activities, and then the taking of digging fees. But then again, it comes back to the issue of what they have done about it since that press conference.
I want to ask you this question, that the very day that press conference was held and the MC noted that, okay, they are waging war against the Langadism in the area, were some task force deployed, or was there a collaboration between the assembly and the police to ensure that this is brought to an end in the area?
Well, after his pronouncement, he met with the chiefs, who are the first-hand people he can deal with the security in the area. He met with the chiefs and then the security personnel in the area to dialogue and see the way forward. So just after the press conference that week, he met them. They discussed ways of, particularly the chiefs, ways of preventing their boys from going to the site to go and take taking fee. So they came to a conclusion that there will be no more taking fee. Because it is this taking fee that brings about this landguard activity. They go to the site to take money, and if you don't give them, then it becomes something else. They tend to attack you for not giving them taking fee. So the chiefs promised that they will speak to their boys not to go to the land to take taking fees, because imagine that a developer has come to develop his land. He has paid for the land, bought and paid for the land, and then again you will go back and ask them for taking fee. And it is not only once. What they do is that one set to come and ask for the taking fee, they go and report to the other set. They come in groups, they also come for taking fees. So you realize that you pay about 3 times of taking fee to different individuals. And if you don't stamp your authority, this thing wouldn't stop. You get it? So we spoke to some developers who have actually expressed disappointment at what is happening. And one thing I also noticed is that they are worried about the collaboration of the police. They are saying the police are not collaborating with them enough. Sometimes they go to report these issues of land guards to the police, and then they don't act. There was this instance, an individual said someone threatened, one of the land guards threatened to bury him on the same land he is working on. So this individual went to the police station to lodge a complaint. He was there, and then this land guard came. Then he reported to the police that this is the man who threatened me. Could you imagine the police didn't say a word? They allowed the man just to walk away. Well, so these are some of the things that is worrying persons who are developing around Gomoa East. So that is what is a challenge here, if you ask me.
Well, there was an allegation made against the police by one of the interviewees. Have you heard anything from the police as to they manning the place very well and ensuring that this issue of land guard is kept?
Well, the police, we tried as much as possible to get to them to speak to us. But unfortunately for them, they won't speak to us on the issues. There have been several occasions we have approached them with land guard issues, land guard troubles within Gomoa East. But they turned us down, refusing to talk to us. So for now, we are in a fix. What actually they are doing to fight this land guard activity. The residents I spoke to are also urging the Inspector General of Police to actually beef up security in the area, and if possibly reshuffle the police in that area, because they believe once the officers settle in the area, they become too confident, and then they tend to liaise with these land guards. So once they move in and out, you don't relax, you don't get to know these land guards around. So they should be reshuffling them in and out. They believe it's one of the ways of trying to stop these land guard activities and ending the relationship between the police and then these land guards, and then some of these chiefs who have men engaging in land guard activity.
So with this, we want to move away from the Gomoa East district. Are there the adjoining district or the adjoining municipalities? Are they also witnessing the same issue? Or it's only for Gomoa East district?
Well, there's a community just after Kaswa. It's called Papase. I think 3 weeks ago, I reported on the same land guard issue around that area. This is a very small community, and it's actually developed, but there are some pieces of land around the community, and these individuals who are claiming to be land guards come to the land, terrorizing residents, shooting sporadically just to scare people away. And some of the developers I spoke to have actually made efforts to speak to the police to intervene, but yet there's no headway in the matter, and then they are worried that so now the police is not even purchase land around Kaswa and its surrounding communities because of the land guard activities.
Calvis, thank you so much for your time. And when there are updates on this particular issue, let us know so that we can inform our viewers about the issue. Thank you so much, Calvis. So Calvis Tete is our Central Regional Correspondent. He came up with this particular story where the land guard situation is becoming one too many in the Gomoa East district. But he also noted that other adjoining communities or municipalities, districts around the Gomoa East area, they're also recording the issue of land guard. It looks like it has to do more of developing areas, places that you would find individuals that have not really, the place is not developed, you don't have much buildings there or completed buildings there, uncompleted buildings. That is where you would find these situations. What do you think is the way forward to do with all this?
Well, the way forward will have to be consistency in implementation of laws that we've set out for ourselves as a people. Now, when in September, when the DC, together with the DISEC, issued this warning that land guard activities had been banned, just 5 days after that, 5 people were arrested.
Okay.
But after that particular arrest, perhaps if I'm wrong, but I'm yet to hear of any concrete work that have been done again by the District Security Council towards ensuring that the ban that they say they have banned land guard activities in line with the new Land Law Act, what they are doing in implementing same. Now, mind you, this was somewhere in September 19, 2022. The arrest happened around September 24. In October 12, now September, October, in October 12, there was another attack on workers working on a salt mining company, same within the Gomoa East district. Now, this particular company had been complaining about the encroachment of their lands, which we've reported on it previously, and they had even gotten private security. But even for them, they were arrested. After September 12, in November 12, even after the DISEC had assured these people of coming in and banning land guard activities, the residents, as noted by Calvers, went to the Inspector General of Police, asking him specifically to step in and protect them, meaning that we are not doing something right. And I can identify a number of things. The consensus as to banning this land guard activities. Now, mind you that Gomoa East itself has been having disputes, chieftaincy disputes, somewhere from the late 90s. So there are about 2 factions there, all claiming legitimacy to the stool in Gomoa East. And even some of their communities are having chieftaincy disputes. Now, shortly after this announcement by the DISEC, we got a group, one of the chieftaincy groups, came out to object to what the DISEC was doing. Now, what tells you is that if you have a section of the traditional leaders opposing to this ban, then that means that a certain people who will be in tune with this particular set of leaders may be gingered or motivated to go ahead to do their business as usual. The other thing has to do with consistency with implementation, as I noted. With the DISEC's decision, what have we done concretely to ensure that at least we implement this? We did a new land law for ourselves, which brought together about 16 different laws on land. It consolidated all these laws into one law, the new Land Law Act. And a lot of people within that space were convinced that by having all our laws consolidated into one document, making our laws very certain on land law, implementing agencies will be able to know what to do at every point in time. But some of these stories tell you that
nothing has been done.
Nothing, or maybe
little has been done. So that is the issue about the land guard situation, but we still keep you updated with what is happening at the Gomoa East District. Mind you, the residents there are calling again on the Inspector General of Police to ensure that some men are being deployed there to ensure that there is safety in that area. Let's move from the central region. Let's go to the Western North region, because calm has returned to the Zongo and Old Town communities of Bibiani after years of conflict. Let's bring you that insight.
Calm has finally been restored at both Zongo and Old Town communities in Bibiani in the Western North region after years of conflict. The conflicts between the two communities and Asante Gold Corporation resulted in the death of a number of people. City News' Western Regional correspondent Stanley Brady has details in this report.
Residents of Bibiani Zongo and Old Town are finally said to be relocated to a different place after several years of fighting with Asante Gold Corporation over their mining activities. The matter has been resolved after the Western North Regional Minister, Richard Eba Obeng, engaged with both parties for an amicable solution. In the past few years, residents of the Bibiani Zongo and Old Town have been at loggerheads with Asante Gold Corporation for resettlement. Residents claim that the activities of the mine poses a threat on their lives and property, and therefore attacked workers of the company at their main site in the middle of last year. At least 6 persons, including a 14-year-old boy, lost their lives through the clashes. After the engagement of both parties with the regional minister, the mining company has agreed to pay compensation to beneficiaries on a 500-acre land secured at Sefi Asichirim Kwanta. Addressing the media after his visit to the proposed site for the resettlement, the minister, Richard Obeng, urged the residents to disregard claims that the mining company would not provide a new settlement, and further called on all stakeholders to play their part to fast-track the construction processes.
I have been briefed by the chairman of the company about some of these things, but it is also good that I come here for the public to take notice that the mine is not running away from resettling our folks in Old Town and Zongo. If you say things like this to people as a minister, they would love for you to show evidence of progress of work that the mines themselves have done. It gives me an indication that the mine is ready to work.
The operations manager of Asante Gold Corporation, Samuel Kwesitechi, assured that all the compensation will be paid to beneficiaries of the proposed site.
As you have also assured the company your support to get this project going forward, we also assure you that whatever it takes for us to begin right away our compensation for the affected farmers, we will do so in light of good spirit and mutual understanding to get this project started according to our time. It is so that in this week everything will be done and dealt with, and the assurance is that, as our CEO rightly said, that he has seen a lot of resettlements in other areas, but among all these he would want to see the resettlement for Bibiani Old Town and Zongo being one of its kind, and to say that this is in an urban environment, and for that matter structures will be actually put up to befit the status of this place.
Meanwhile, Bright Akomia Yeboah, who spoke on behalf of the farmers and the landlords of the proposed site, urged management of the mining company to involve them in all processes going forward. From Bibiani, Stanley Bwedi for City News.
Development in every community is needed, and that when there is an organization in a particular area, there is something we call corporate social responsibility. So at least if there is this agreement between the management of Asante Gold Corporation and also the Zongo and the Old Town community members, there's a way to go and ensure that what the community members are asking for has been given to them. But now that the Western North Regional Minister has moved in to at least ensure that there is calm in the area and also calm amongst these two parties, that's also something that is very right.
And the intervention is good, but sometimes I think that as a people we delay on certain things. Delay. I mean, when you are moving a certain people from a certain space for commercial activity to take place, issues of compensation will come up. I think that these are, and there are several stages for which a mining company will get license. There are several licenses for different kind of things, and then when you are ready and you are certified to engage in mining, and in this instance, a large-scale mining, there are authorities who are in charge of these things. And I believe that these authorities are well aware of usually some of the demands of these residents within these communities. Mind you, some of these residents, some of these lands may have been what they were surviving on as means of farms that were being used for farming and other things.
And so, also, we understand, right, after the minister's intervention, that they didn't really conclude the issue, because there was renewed clashes there, where some residents of the Bibiani gold mines clashed with the military guards of the Ashanti Gold Corporation. So I think there are a lot of work that has to be done.
So that's the point. If you don't put up a structure to make sure that the compensation is done in a manner that the people feel or believe that they are being treated fairly, and they begin to have some level of perception, intervening later is very difficult, because then now you don't have to buy the trust of the people for the people to hold you to their words. Because if people are angry and they are asking for compensation and the compensation is not there, mere words will not be enough for them to hold their guts. But this is not in any way to justify as illegal. I mean, you should look at it from both ends. If you have issue and you think that you deserve compensation, there are right procedures that you should go to. At no point in time should we condone violence in any form, in any way, no matter who it is coming from.
Well, so that is it. Coming from the area, that is the Bibiani and the Ashanti Gold Corporation area, we are just hoping, as we always say here, to ensure that at least there will be some calm in that area, because that is what is needed. So the corporation has to do what is expected of them, and also the residents are also supposed to at least buy into whatever the corporation is bringing on board. You're still watching CNR Extra on CCTV. Still to come. Gonja traditional area thrown into a state of mourning following the death of overlord of the Gonja Kingdom, Yagbonwura Burisa Tuntumba II. Kindly stay with us. We're back with more stories.
Roses are red, violets are blue, Valentine's is approaching, so get ready for Shades of Love 2. Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023 is here again. Get your shade of red or pink outfits ready. Hit up your special one and plan a night of unbelievable fun and a whole lot of love. Listening to Aquaba's back-to-back hits. Shades of Love 2023 with Aquaba will be the night to remember for all those who love love, and happening in both Accra and in Kumasi. Date on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February 2023 at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel in Accra, and on the 18th of February at Ike's Cafe and Grill in Kumasi. Tickets are going for VVIP for 400 Ghana cedis, VIP for 300 Ghana cedis, standard tickets for 200 Ghana cedis, and for table bookings and cabanas and all enquiries, kindly call 027-227-7757. Get your tickets at
City TV and City FM, Joy FM, YFM, Accra Mall, Eliza's Restaurant, Jolu Junction, Metro TV, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
Shades of Love with Aquaba 2023. It will be awesome. Media partners:
Powered by
Think Media Expert.
We are grateful for staying with us here on CNR Extra or on City TV. You can join us with your contribution, comments, and suggestions on the stories we've been discussing so far via WhatsApp line 0204 447033. Let's go to another story. A military personnel deployed to Mamikrobo in the eastern region following the killing of a young man there by some nomadic herdsmen to prevent reprisal attacks. Let's bring you that insight.
A combined team of military and police are currently patrolling the streets of Mamikrobo in the Afram Plains South district of the eastern region to prevent reprisal attacks following the alleged murder of a resident by a herdsman. The incident, which occurred on Friday, has led to the burning of some houses and properties in the Zongo community at Mamikrobo. An earlier intervention from personnel of the Eastern Regional Police Command prevented the incident from escalating on Friday night as the police managed to convey the herdsmen from Mamikrobo to Donkokrom to prevent reprisal attacks. City News' Neil Amati Kanaku has more in this report.
There is still tension at Mamikrobo following the alleged murder of a resident by a herdsman. It is, however, not clear what caused the attack on the resident, but some sources say the deceased, before the unfortunate incident, gunned down a cattle belonging to some herdsmen after they invaded his farm, causing destruction to his farm produce. Several houses belonging to some residents within the Zongo community were burnt in reprisal attacks. Hundreds of residents have fled the community for fear of their safety. On Saturday morning, the military were flown in from Accra to assist the Regional Police Command to manage the situation. The Eastern Regional Police Commander, DCO Pichumesi Yankra, and other top police officials and military management team held a meeting with chiefs and opinion leaders of the community to appeal to them on the need for peace to prevail. City News checks in the district reveals that the situation is fast escalating to other communities as it has sparked other attacks at Krachi, another community in the Afram Plains South District. Abdul Hamid Ibrahim is a resident of Mamikrobo.
On the 3rd of February 2023, an incident happened whereby some policemen shooting someone in his room. But God being so good, or I should say God being on our side, today the Eastern Regional Police Commander and the Divisional Police Commander, they were here to calm things down. But that isn't enough. We are calling on the IGP so that he can bring more men to reinforce the situation.
A scheduled briefing by the police and the military to calm tempers of aggrieved community members, however, ended inconclusively as the youth were chanting and demanding.
It looks like the security agencies in this country have a lot of work to do because, you know, when issues of this nature is happening from one place to another, there is a reprisal attack here, there is uncalm here, there is this, that. The security agency becomes like sort of overwhelmed with all these issues. And if care is not taken, these things that we are seeing, maybe one person has been killed, another person has been killed, but it's becoming one too many. And it's good that now the military personnel have been deployed there, but at least calm must come back to that particular area. The allegation here is that the individual who was killed gunned down a cattle, and that is what actually caused the whole issue. I'm sure investigations will be conducted into or launched into the issue, but I think it's becoming one too many when it comes to these issues.
Well, when it comes to herdsmen and residents of various communities engaging in some of these scuffles or disturbances, I mean, we've reported it quite a number of times. And
way back, there was an issue at Agogo like that with the herdsmen.
And of course, the issues will all boil down to the use of land and ownership of land and disagreements that arise among them and the level of mistrust that exists between the various parties. It only goes to the point that there's a fundamental issue with our land system that we need to deal with, and issues of land use, and how as a people we can find a lasting solution to it. Because as you rightly indicated, often than not it will happen, there'll be police or military deployment depending on how serious the issue is, and then come or restore, and then the military or police will go back.
Then the issue happen again.
Then we'll go back again. So there's a fundamental issue that we need to settle as a people. But beyond that also, I think that we have to make our dispute settlement processes very effective. I believe that people in all form of honesty will want to settle disputes without having to engage in any form of scuffle or disturbance. Of course, you have people who, by their nature or per their nature, would be thinking of resorting to violence as the first choice of action. But I want to believe, and a number of persons agree, that generally when you have a working system, a system that people can rely upon and know that when I say A is attempting to take my property, and you know you have a right to your property, and to even to a certain extent you have a right to protect your property. But what are the processes that you can go through to protect your property? And if I go through these processes, can I indeed protect my property?
I think generally people must exercise patience when it comes to these things, because like you're indicating, there are ways you can go about and ensuring that there are issues that are resolved, like the alternative dispute resolution. But then again, maybe much education needs to be given on that. Ghana is only one, and these issues of reprisal attacks and all that, violence here, violence there, is not going to help the country. Let's move to another story, but this also has to do with killing. And the MP for Jomoro, Dorcas Afotofi, is asking the Inspector General of Police and also the President to issue a statement on the death of Shadrach Allo. Let's bring you that inset.
The Member of Parliament for Jomoro, Dorcas Afotofi, and residents of Jomoro have called on the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to immediately issue a statement on the death of Shadrach Allo and Nzima from Jomoro, who died on 30th of December 2023 following a scuffle between police personnel from a private security firm and a civilian at the West Hills Mall in Accra. Addressing a press conference on Saturday at Jomoro organized by the family and residents, the MP demanded that the President must direct the IGP to investigate his death and issue a statement just as he did when George Floyd, an American, was murdered due to police brutality.
I've called upon the lawyer, Honorable Sesu, to expedite on a petition to the IGP, the Attorney General Department, and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defense and Interior. Justice for Shadrach is what we are all seeking for. Whilst this is done, I, together with the family, demand of the following. 1. Just as the President issued a statement in the case of George Floyd, a black African American who was killed in a similar way, as it cannot be right that in the 21st century, the United States, this great blessing of democracy, continues to grapple with a system of racism. On behalf of the people of Ghana, I express my deep condolence to the family and the loved ones of late George Floyd. We expect and demand that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa will issue a statement to commemorate with the family of Shadrach. The IGP should, as a matter of urgency, cause a full-scale investigation into the murder of the deceased by his officers and corporates at the West Hills Mall with respect to the event on the 31st of January.
And indeed, the lawyer for the deceased family, that
MP for Medina.
Medina, yes. He has petitioned the IGP asking that at least some investigation or actions must be put into this particular incident that has happened. And I think that it's a way to go, because something has to be said about the issue.
Yes, so he's acting on behalf of the MP for Jomoro, who says the deceased is a constituent, and also acting on behalf of the family of the deceased. And they are raising issue with the police, particularly on recklessness, indicating that the police officer who attempted to arrest this this gentleman and attempted to search his bag actually raised a false alarm, allegedly, indicating that this said person was a thief, and that attracted some level of, how should I put it, that attracted the crowd to him, and if I can put it in a way, the mob action that was meted out to him. They are also beat him, they handcuffed him, and he was finding it difficult to breathe. And so they are raising issue of recklessness on the police team that was on the ground, and they believe that the police can also be held liable. Of course, they are also noting that the people who took part in the offense,
some civilians, some private security officers,
also should be held liable. I mean, all these will come clear after the police have done their investigations and arrested all persons who ought to be arrested. But the part about the police, these are very serious allegations, and I think that the IGP should take it seriously, because if anything they are saying is something that we can go with, if a police can raise an alarm that somebody he wants to arrest is a thief, and supposedly we even accept so, and that person is apprehended by private citizens and private security, and that police officer is not minded to take this person to a place of safety, but leaves him in the hands of other people to, I mean, use all manner of things against him that would lead to his death. It's been established that this man was about to leave the country for greener pastures. This is very troubling, and it's a serious allegation against the Ghana Police Service.
And the Ghana Inspector General of Police must take it
he must and act accordingly.
The lawyer for the MP for Jomoro and also the family of the deceased, he has petitioned the IGP, and we expect that at least swift actions will be taken on this. You are watching CNR Extra on City TV. Still to come. Gonja traditional area thrown into a state of mourning following the death of overlord of Gonja Kingdom, Yagbohura Burisa Tuntumba II. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Aside raising funding and be a unicorn, the main goal is to impact life, to enrich minds, to know that the African youth is capable of changing the narrative, taking charge of their lives, whether it's running a business or working for a company.
I fell in love with the opportunity to work with young people and channel their energy to nation building.
It's my job, once you join the team, to figure out how best you can use the strengths and even the weaknesses you have to advance the cause to prosperity for 1 billion people.
the generation before us helped us, and then we help the next generation.
Well, our struggles may be singular, but our destinies are shared.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's take you to the Gonja Kingdom, where the Gonja traditional area has been thrown into a state of mourning following the death of the overlord there. Let's bring you that insight.
The king and overlord of Gonja, Professor Suleiman Ajakpa Tuntumba Borisa II, has died. The death of the king was announced by the registrar of the Savannah Regional House of Chiefs to City News at the Jakpa Palace on Sunday, February 5. Borisa, who was the president of the Savannah Regional House of Chiefs, passed in the early hours of Sunday. Traditional human rights and mourning have commenced. City News' Richard Fogo reports.
The late chief was enskinned as Yebungura in March 2010. Before his enskinnment as Yebungura, he was the paramount chief of the Kosogo traditional area of Gonja under the skin name Kosogora Suleiman Ajapa. He was the son of Yapegura Bakari, the son of Yebungura Mahama of Kosogo, and Mma Nyambale Chiraba. The Yebungura has been unwell for some time now. Here is the registrar of the Savannah Regional House of Chiefs, Abutu Kapuri, announcing the passing of the late king to City News at the Japa Palace.
In the Savannah region, today is a black day in our history. The king of Gonja, Yebungura Professor Tuntumba Borisa I, on the 5th of February 2023, and he could not make it. So he has been called by his ancestors to come and be part of them and work to bring development to the Savannah region. At this moment, as I speak to you, we are mourning, and culture and tradition is on display. And very soon, we'll be leaving to Nyange, the capital of the Gonja Kingdom, where all the traditions and customs of Gonja will be displayed until we bury.
Is it possible to tell us how will the funeral go and when will the king be laid to rest?
The funeral starts from 2 p.m. today, 5th February 2023. And as you can see, we are still mourning. It will carry us to tomorrow, and tomorrow maybe by the evening, the king will be laid to rest.
So that is the traditional aspect. Will they come where the country will be invited to come and join the kingdom to mourn?
Of course, as we unfold the funeral rites, we will have the 3 days, we will have the 7 days, we will have the 12 days, and amongst this, the leadership of the Gonja Kingdom will decide which of the funeral rites that they will invite the entire Republic of Ghana to come and help them mourn the late king, Yebungura Professor Tuntumba Borisa I.
Late Suleiman Tuntumba Borisa I is described as a peace-loving man, a unifier, and a development-oriented chief. He will be remembered for leading the Gonja state to petition for the creation of the Savannah region. So Gonja land and the entire Savannah region is mourning the passing of the king and overlord of the Gonja traditional area, Tuntumba Borisa II, who is an honorary professor. The entire kingdom is in mourning, and as you can see from behind me, funeral arrangements, plans, rituals are ongoing for the overlord to be buried at Mankuma as tradition demands. The palace say more.
So we commiserate with the Gonja traditional area people, and we hope that the enskillment of another chief will be smooth and also the process that is going to be done through for the funeral is also going to be smooth. Anyway, that's how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nilata. I did this with Hansen Ajiman. Many thanks for your time and keep watching City TV.
My name is Gina, and this salon is where I work.
Good morning. Hey, morning. Dresses. You've already met your new colleague, have you?
Who built this Kujubi? He fell from the sky.
I'm so glad there's a man amongst you. You ladies gossip too much. Hey, girls.
Today, Madam came in with a hot, sexy guy. And they were being lovey.
Did Madam think men don't gossip?
The grapevine lands on my lap.
I've noticed a massive decline in our daily proceeds.
I suggest we fast and pray.
The spirit, told me today that I will see a man in this salon.
He said his wife is dead?
Yes, she was sick.
Hey, what sickness?
Aite, it's